What's good, everybody? Happy Tuesday. I hope this message finds you doing well. Possibly you're on your lunch break. This is the next video in the Let's Grow to Lunch installment of videos about authentic dialogue to help you improve your relationships and end the personal wars in your life. I believe that we may not have the power to end war on a global scale, but we absolutely have the power to end war in our personal lives. And to take it a step further, I believe that as more and more people get good at ending the wars in their personal lives, it'll have a trickle down effect or a trickle up or a trickle around effect to ultimately impact society as a whole, and start bringing society closer together. So this work is very meaningful to me, and just in the overall grand scheme of what I do with my theory of indivisibility, and that podcast, etc. So anyway, let's jump into the next nugget here for you to chew on, which is something called empathetic questioning. Oh, and before I get into it, some of you have been following me. You may have noticed that it looks like I'm a little slimmer today. Yeah, because I actually shaved my beard off for the first time in 2 years. So there's that. So this is a new look. I'm still playing around with it. I may cut this down as well, but we'll see how things go. And then if I want to grow it back, I'll just grow it back. My hair grows pretty fast. So anyway, but yeah, and within authentic dialogue and, the idea of listening, we talked about the importance of listening and empathetic listening. The next level of empathetic listening is actually asking empathetic questions, because when you ask someone questions in an empathetic manner, in a manner that they can really feel that you're trying to understand them, you're trying to get down to the underlying root causes of their upset, of their concern, or of their fear, that will make that person feel so much more secure, so much more safe, within the context of the relationship and whenever disagreements arise. And empathetic questioning, if you can perfect it, if you can perfect empathetic questioning along with empathetic listening, you'll find that you'll have a much more healthy relationship. You'll find that you'll actually get closer to the things that you want as a result. Because when people feel heard and they feel understood, they're more likely to change a behavior, or they're more likely to want to compromise and work through things with you. And it's just a more efficient way to getting to solutions. I gave an example. I did a talk yesterday at a school, and I gave an example of something that I experienced in my life when I get in arguments with people in the past. When I would get into like heated arguments with, my partners or good friends, etc., business partners, my ex-wife, good friends, etc., throughout my adult life, it would be like a heated argument. We'd be throwing blows back and forth. And ultimately in that conversation, in that argument, excuse me, in that argument, we were all just anchored. Both were anchored in our position, and it kind of ended that way. And you left the argument feeling like, I got my point across, or they didn't hear me, right? But either way, one person was injured in that exchange, if not both people being injured emotionally, or their ego or whatever in that exchange. And what happened was, a day later, after like absorbing what was said, a lot of times I would hear what that person was trying to convey. And the next day when I came back to them, I would be a little bit more open to seeing the ways that maybe I can change my perspective or change my behaviors in a way that was more conducive to, what they were trying to convey. So as I began to learn authentic dialogue and I began to implement this into my life, it just got to the point where I said, well, why do we have to go through the name calling, the insults, the arguing, the yelling, the screaming, cutting each other off, and all these various things, only to be upset. And then once you come down a day or two later, to be able to have a conversation where it's like, well, maybe I can change this, or I can adjust that. It tended to always happen, but it happened on the other side of the blow up. So basically, again, if you care about someone, you definitely, oftentimes, I'll speak for myself, because I cared about the person, it would if I would hear them through the arguing and everything. Eventually I would hear them and I would want to, mend the relationship and make adjustments. Where authentic dialogue comes in and where empathetic listening and questioning comes in, it allows us to avoid the blow up. It allows us to be more efficient in how we handle, conflict and disagreements. So instead of blowing up, listening empathetically and asking empathetic questions will be a streamlined approach to getting to solutions. So let me give you a little nuggets about empathetic questioning. So it requires asking open-ended questions. You see me looking at my notes. It requires asking open-ended questions that do not lead, and they have the following characteristics. They are focused on learning more about the individual, not about satisfying the need of the asker. Empathetic questions are asked neutrally with no emotional charge, no hidden suggestions, no assumptions or contradictory body language from the asker. They require some thought and some reflection. They promote insight and they uncover true opinions and feelings. So start implementing empathetic questions into your dialogue practice, and I guarantee you'll start seeing the results that you want. You'll start seeing tighter bonds, more trust, less resentment, and the ending of the wars in your personal and professional relationships. So I hope that helped. If it makes sense, please share this video, leave some comments, ask some questions. And if you want to see the other videos in this series, just search the hashtag Let's Grow to Lunch. Until next time, I love y'all. Peace.